Okay, so we're going to start. We have a lot of people. Baruch Hashem. Welcome to everyone. Too many people to say hello to. We appreciate everyone coming. I hope we won't disappoint you. There's a Aushach in the end of the Parsha. The Aushach says a very interesting Aushach. He brings that HaKadosh Baruch Hu in Pasuk Yud Gimel Yud Daled, Hashem says, Vaydaber Hashem al Moshe, Hotzei es HaMekabel. Which the way he learns, that was a tzivui to Moshe, that you, Moshe, should go ahead and take the Mikado and kill him. Then the last pasuk in the parsha says, Vaydaber Moshe el bnei Yisrael, vayotziu es Mikado. Moshe talked to Bnei Yisrael, and they took out the Mikado, and they killed him. So the Aushach says as follows, in pasuk Kaf Daled and Kaf Gimel. Yisbarach Amar to Moshe Hotzi es Mikado. Shehu ba'atzmo yotzio l'sukum. Hashem told Moshe clearly, you should do it yourself, all by yourself. But when it came the time to do it, what happened? Instead of Moshe doing it, Vayidaber bnei Israel. Diber, Moshe told him, Sha'al Yodo, he caused the Yotzio. Moshe made that he shouldn't do it, but rather the Bnei Yisrael should do it. Why? Moshe told Bnei Yisrael, in other words, Hashem told Moshe to do it. But Moshe went ahead and told Bnei Yisrael, I can't do it. Even though Hashem told me to do it, I can't do it. Why? Because it doesn't look nice. Pen Yomru, because if I do it, people will say, Moshe killed this guy's father. And because he killed his father, he got in trouble. Paro wanted to kill him. And it had to happen. That Hashem had to save him. So people would say, and Moshe has an idea. You know why Moshe wants to kill his son? Because Moshe has a grudge. What's his grudge? Because his father caused him a lot of trouble. How did his father cause him a lot of trouble? When Moshe killed his father, Paro got angry at Moshe, and Paro wanted to kill Moshe, and Moshe had to run away. So it comes out that this person's father caused Moshe a lot of aggravation, a lot of, put his life in danger. Therefore, Moshe has a grudge to his father. Because Moshe has a grudge to his father, he's taking it out on the son, and that's why he's killing the son. So if Moshe would have killed the Mikado himself, people would have said that that Moshe is doing it because he has a grudge. That's what he says. Because his father put his life in, caused Moshe's life to be in danger. Now came Bishaman, so Moshe told Bnei Israel, I can't do it. Because if I do it, it doesn't look nice. Therefore, when Bnei Israel heard this, they went in, Moshe. So they did it. Moshe said, I can't do it. Because I have a problem. I can't do it. You people have to do it. Because if I do it, people will say that I'm doing it because of my grudge. Therefore, Bnei Israel heard this, and Bnei Israel went in and did it. And the next Aushach says that because the Bnei Israel did it for this reason, so it was considered in Lumdus as if Moshe did it, to be Yotzi the Mitzvah. Okay, that's basically the Aushach. So just to say it again, because there's some people that walked in. So the Aushach, I don't know walked in what the right expression is. The Aushach says an amazing thing. We're reading the Aushach on the last pasuk in the Parsha, that really the tzivui in pasuk Yud Daled was that Moshe should kill the Mikado himself. But Moshe told Bnei Yisrael, I can't do that. Because if I would kill the Mikado, people would say, I'm doing it because I have a grudge. Because I have a grudge against his father. Because when his father, by the fact that when I killed his father, that caused Paro to want to kill me, and that made that I had to run away from Mitzrayim. Therefore, I'm upset with his father. His father caused me all this aggravation. And made I have a grudge against his father. Since I have a grudge against his father, I took him taking on the son, and that's why I want to kill the son. And made if I would kill the son, that's what people would say. So therefore, Moshe said, I can't do it. So he's asking, so to speak, for the people, you got to do it for me, even though Hashem said I should do it. What can I do? I can't do it. And sure enough, the people went ahead and they did it. So that's how he's reading the Parshas of Gimel. Vaydaber Moshe Yisrael. Moshe explained to Yisrael that he has a problem, that he can't do it. And they went ahead and the Yosima Samikalam Yichus. So the Bnei Yisrael went ahead and did it. Okay, that's a chazal. Okay, so again, so there's a few blatant problems with this chazal, and a few I think it's probably, hopefully many of the guys saw the shmooze themselves. I went ahead, I sent the Sifsei Achamim, which is quotes the Rabbeinu Bechaya, that says in Shmos, when Moshe said Chatzais, and Hashem said Chatzais, so what Rashi says, it's a Gemara, that Moshe changed it because the people in the Mitzrayim might say that Moshe is a Badai, because they'll get their times wrong, and because therefore Moshe went ahead and changed what Hashem said. So Rabbeinu Bechaya asked, how can you change what Hashem said because of Mishigaim? Because if some shaita is going to say some crazy thing, you change what Hashem says? So that seems to be a proper hashkafa. I give some answer over there. It's a special din that because of whatever, special din in gear, whatever. L'chayr over here, Parshas, anyone who would say that Moshe killed the Mikado for this reason has to be totally 100% crazy. First of all, as in every single shmooze, who we talking about is Moshe Rabbeinu. He's the greatest tzaddik. You're going to say he's murdering someone because he has an Nagiya. You think Moshe is going to murder someone because he has an Nagiya? Right? Klal Yisrael did not know that Moshe is a tzaddik. He's a bigger tzaddik than Rabbi Yosef, bigger than the Gra. Oh, maybe he's killing the guy because he has a Nagiya. Come on. Second of all, the Nagiya is such a vaita Nagiya. It's not like maliciously, it's not like he did anything to Moshe. His father didn't do anything to Moshe either. Moshe killed his father. I don't think his father appreciated that. His father did not ask to be killed. Moshe killed his father, and Moshe's killing his father caused that Paro was upset with Moshe. So you're blaming him for that. It's not his fault, it's Moshe's fault. No, well, it was his fault because he went ahead and he did what he did. And he made me want to kill him. And because I killed him, Paro went angry. So it's all his fault. I mean, it's so rachik. It's such a rachik thing. And this happened, I don't know how many years ago, but we're talking about many, many years ago, right? The Mikado's son is a big boy now. He's over bar mitzvah, at least. He's probably, we don't know exactly when this happened. Then Moshe went ahead and killed the Mikado. I mean, how many years transpired? But probably around 20 years ago. And since then, life has worked out pretty well for Moshe. It's not like Moshe's suffering because he ran away from Paro. He became the Nasi of Klal Yisrael. Even Yosef said, like you thought they're bad, and Hashem chash for the taiva. Not even Yosef, but Yosef said that. I'm sure Moshe Rabbeinu would say the same thing. That look, it was all hashkacha, worked out because I had to run away. I went ahead and I went to Midjan. I got the right shidduch. I got Nisipora. I got my kids and everything. That was all part of, and now I became the head of all Klal Yisrael. So the whole thing is so crazy. The Nagiya is so dakedakus. It's so, his father indirectly was a goyrei, not on purpose, surely not on purpose, because father didn't want to be killed, to cause me 20 years ago a problem which ended up being this gada was not a problem, but was really good for me. And because of that, I, Moshe Rabbeinu, am going to go ahead and murder someone. So, it sounds like the most craziest thing that someone should say. And yet, well, because it's not like someone acting, okay, sometimes crazy things happen. Moshe on his own, without anyone saying it, to hear that people are going to say it. And it's a big enough of a problem that Moshe says that I have to change from the tzivui of Hashem. It's not like it doesn't go into the gather of what the Rabbeinu Bechaya says, that because of a shaita, you go against what HaKadosh Baruch Hu said. The Rabbeinu Bechaya says in Shmos, because you're going to worry about some shaitim, and listen to Hashem. But here, Moshe says, listen, Hashem told me I got to do it, but I can't. Because what are people going to say? Right? So it's such a, the first most obvious shmooze, I think, is that apparently, I think you have to say the Zeman Devon is that this potential of that someone would say it is not as crazy as it sounds. We would never say it. I would never say such a thing. That Moshe Rabbeinu is killing the Mikado because he has a Negiah, because of this weiter, far-fetched Negiah. But that's because we do not understand Koiches HaNefesh, and we don't understand how Negiahs works. And we're confident that, Negiahs, they're not going to affect me. But someone who's a bigger Talmid Chacham and understands, Dor Deya, and they understand the Koiches of Negiah, it's not so crazy. It is a possibility. In other words, we would say that it's enough of, it's a realm, it's a valid thing. When Moshe Rabbeinu it's Moshe saying people are going to say this. He's not saying because people are Rishonim. He's not being, Moshe is not being dumb people to Kaf Choiv, and he's not thinking, he doesn't mean because one Meshuggah is going to say it. One Meshuggah is not, you don't change the whole Torah for one Meshuggah. That's what the Rabbeinu Bechaya says. This is what people will assume because it's within, and I'm saying it's enough within the realm that it's not totally crazy. So that the first shmooze is that we have to, I think that's the basic shmooze. The basic shmooze is that we don't realize how Negiahs can actually affect even the greatest person, even to go ahead and do Ritzicha. And some dakis Negiah, and that's real. That's a real thing. It's a real possibility. And therefore, it's a real shaila. Moshe knows that it's not true, but it's a normal person will see this. Yeah, there's a Negiah here. He calls him as a minor, trivial, lack of, and it was so indirect, and it wasn't him, it was his father, and it was a minor problem that his father caused me accidentally 20 years ago, but it's shaykh, and it's very logical to assume, but for it, it's a Negiah. And Negiahs affect your judgment. That's how judgment is. Judgments are affected by Negiahs. And it's not so crazy to say Moshe Rabbeinu is a human being too. And Moshe Rabbeinu's judgment can also be affected by a Negiah. And therefore, it's not within the realm, it doesn't go into the realm of what the Rabbeinu Bechaya said. Over there by Chatzais, there he says it's shaitim. A guy that says Moshe Rabbeinu says Chatzais, and you say Moshe's wrong, because in my watch it was Kichatzais, but that's a shaitim. We don't worry. A shaita is a shaita, and I don't have to worry because a shaita is going to go ahead and make a mistake. We don't worry about it. That's what Rabbeinu Bechaya says. But the person that would say this, that would say that Moshe Rabbeinu killed the Mikado because he had a Negiah, because his father indirectly caused him aggravation, because after he killed his father, he had to run away from Moshe, that's not a crazy thing. That's not a shaita. That's a normal, logical thing to say. Anyway, I think that was the main shmooze that I wanted to say, is that the kayach of a Negiah, even to the grabba averis, even to the greatest people. And that's because Negiahs are emotional, and you don't know what they are. You can't put your finger on it. You don't know that it exists. You don't know why you're thinking what you're thinking. And therefore, it's very possible that the Negiah could be working and you don't realize it. So you can be the world's greatest tzaddik, and it can be the world's greatest avera, but obviously amazing Moshe is not going to go ahead and kill someone. But based on the Gia to make a tolos and judgment, it's very possible. That was the first shmooze. The second shmooze is a little bit harder. I don't know, I don't know we should say it, but we'll say it anyway. The second shmooze is that there's a kasha on this chazal. So what does Moshe do? Because he has this problem, that he's afraid that the people are going to say, that's Lashon Hara, that Moshe killed the Mikado because of his Negiah. So he tells the people, people, I have a problem. I can't kill him, so maybe you could help me out. So what do they do? So they kill him for Moshe. Why doesn't the same problem exist? I mean, basically, Moshe is telling the people to kill him. I mean, pretty much. He didn't verbally say, people take and go stone him, but he basically told them. He says, Vayedaber Moshe b'nei Yisrael. He explains to b'nei Yisrael the problem. He says, I really want to kill him because Hashem told me to kill him. He's Chayim Misa. I can't kill him because people will say I'm doing it because of my Negiah. So I have a problem. So maybe you people could help me. I say, sure, Moshe. Okay, we'll kill him for you. Now, how in the world does that remove the problem of what people are going to say? It's still coming from Moshe. Moshe is the one who told the people that we got to kill this guy. Moshe set it up. He went ahead and so if the problem, if there's it seems from the Haushach, there's a terrible thing going on here. Moshe is changing from the Tzivay Hashem. That's a terrible thing. Except that there's a problem. He has no breira because he can't allow this lies that people will say that he's doing it for the Negiah. But the problem is that his changing from the Tzivay Hashem doesn't seem to remove the Negiah, to remove the lies anyway. I'll still say the same lies because it's still Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu is still the one that's doing it. So that I don't have such a good answer for that question. But it sounds like that the answer is that, again, it's also, just like we're saying that Negiyahs are, the reason why Negiyahs are so dangerous is because they're not intellectual. And therefore you can't it's not an intellectual question that goes through your mind as an intellectual thought. And therefore you could figure out, oh, this thought is krum. It's just a hargasha that hurts your judgment. You don't know that you have a Negiah. You don't know that your judgment is off. You think your judgment is right. You don't know that this judgment is from the Negiah. So that's why even the greatest tzaddik can do the worst avera based on Negiah. So it's the same thing, the same concept with the people that see. When people look at the situation and they say, oh, Moshe, it's a Negiah, it's also not it's not an intellectual necessary judgment. It's also an emotional thing. There's a certain emotional, you look at it, oh, it doesn't look good. It's just the way it hits you when you look at it. It might not be, in other words, it's not that intellectually with a deep thought out cheshbon, Bnei Yisrael are coming to this conclusion that, oh, Moshe Rabbeinu did it with Negiah. If it would be based on a deep intellectual cheshbon, then I don't see how Moshe telling the Bnei Yisrael to do it for him would remove the problem. So, but it probably is also, it's when you look at the situation, that's just the way it hits them. It smacks of that. So the chitzonius bring out that feeling. I know Moshe has a Negiah, because I know that Moshe killed his father, and I know that caused Moshe a lot of problems. So when I see Moshe going ahead and the Adayim killing him, the seeing it makes me feel that the thought comes into my head, oh, the Negiah is what did it. But closed man, I don't see it. Moshe doesn't, I don't see Moshe killing him. Moshe is behind the scenes. Now, I know that Moshe is behind the scenes, but that's intellectual. But with my eyes, I don't see it. So it doesn't bring out that reaction, that negative reaction. Oh, this is terrible, because the reaction is also emotional, and emotions have to be based on the seeing rather than the knowledge. I'm not sure that's not such a simple answer, and if someone has a better answer to the second question, I would be ready to hear. But basically, the basic shmooze, I think I like this, is the first shmooze, which second one maybe, if it's the right answer, it probably also goes to the same idea, that we have to hear that there are certain emotional factors that play in our decisions, which are totally emotional, and therefore the fact that we're a tzaddik doesn't help us, or I don't say it doesn't help us, but it's not necessarily going to protect us. The fact we have tremendous yiras shamayim doesn't necessarily protect us. Moshe Rabbeinu would have, obviously, the tremendous tzaddik would have the greatest yiras shamayim not to want to be a murderer. But that might not protect him, because if it's working with a negiah, negiahs can go ahead and make you believe that it's right. So what does it help me that I'm a tzaddik, and what does it help me that's a worse avera? It doesn't help. So it's a definite shmooze in that we have to be much, much more questioning ourselves when we make decisions, that we think intellectually that we're confident that we're right, and we're for sure that and that we have to always challenge ourselves, that because obviously we probably, in everything we do, we have certain negiyas, and I'm sure the negiyas that we have are much, much greater than the negiyah that Moshe Rabbeinu had here. And obviously we're not as big tzaddikim as Moshe Rabbeinu. We're not talking about ritzicha as Moshe Rabbeinu. So we have to be much, much more ready to admit to ourselves and to acknowledge that it is possible. It's not out of the realm of possibility that our emotions and our negiyas are making us make incorrect decisions. And at least what we have to do is to double check and to triple check and to really be careful, because if chas v'shalom, this wasn't the case here, but theoretically, if Moshe could be over on Ritzicha because of a negiah, imagine what we can be doing. So we have to really, careful on being wary of our negiyas. Okay, I'm going to unmute everyone, I guess, and hear everyone scream.
That's a question?
Yes, I don't know who said that, but whoever said that can say it. Who said it? Can I ask the question?
It's our thing going by. Our stopwatch.
Someone wanted to ask a question? I heard someone's...
Hello, I wanted Rabbi. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
I'm wondering, how do you know, maybe it was that Moshe, that if Moshe Rabbeinu would have taken him himself, that looks funny. Like, why is the leader of Klal Yisrael doing it himself? That itself.
Because Hashem told him. Hashem told him to do it. But Hashem told him.
He knows that. I'm saying he knows that. But how does, the same way we Klal Yisrael thinks that maybe he's killing him, how do you know that Klal Yisrael may think that's unusual? And then that connects in their head to the negiah. But otherwise, here's the second question you asked. Maybe, maybe when he doesn't do it himself, they don't have that question. It's only if you do it himself, it looks funny.
Okay, I don't know. You're making a preassumption that there's something strange with Moshe doing it himself. The Parshas is the very fact that Hashem told Moshe to do it proves that that's not strange. That's why Hashem told him to do it, because that's really the Yashris. And Mistama, the Dor, they understood that that's the Yashris, the mitzvah bo yosim yivishlucho. It's a befesh in Gedushin. I don't know. No one says that there would be something, this was an unusual thing that Moshe would do it himself. I don't know. No one says that.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe, but it's a little bit like, like I would say it's not more, but it's like we usually try not to make up ideas that are not, it doesn't say. The Parshas is Hashem tells Moshe to do it. That's the right way, and that's the normal way, and that's understandable. I don't know. I wouldn't be hesitant to say that. It's like making up something. I can't say it's wrong, but there's no basis for that. That looks strange. So I'd be hesitant. I would still leave it shver.
Maybe if Moshe would have told them to do it, so then it's like Hashem's telling the tzivah to Moshe, and he's telling them. So they think that it's really their job to do it, and just when Moshe does it, so then they feel that maybe Moshe's doing it because of this nagia.
I couldn't hear. I'm sorry, but Moshe told them this whole story. According to the Alshef, Moshe didn't tell them. Hashem told me to tell you to do it. Moshe told Bnei Israel, you know what? Hashem told me to do it. I want to do it, but I can't do it because if I do it, it'll look like I do it because of a negia. So could you please do it for me?
He told them that whole thing?
That's what the Alshef is learning. Yes, I think so. Yes, that's what he's saying. Kilo diber lahem, kilo yois lo natzio. He told them that he can't do it because of what people will say. So he basically told them this whole story.
No, ki diber lahem means he told them to do it. He didn't tell them the whole story. Ki diber lahem means
lo natzio. This is what I think he told him. He told them this. Pen yomru ki hu origas aviv. And then the Al came, and therefore Bishamam, when they heard this, they went and did it. And you see the next Alshef, he says it beferish. The mash and the shem shemayim nischavnu bnei Yisrael kavana shem shemayim laharchik mi Moshe lazus vasayim. He says beferish that Bnei Yisrael did it because they wanted to save Moshe from Lazarus. So Moshe told them this whole story. Moshe told them, I'm really supposed to do it. I can't do it because I'm going to be last. So could you please do it for me? And they did it with that intention. We're going to save Moshe from last. He says it beferish. So, I mean, the second
Why
question.
didn't he just tell them not to have laws?
What? Yeah.
Why didn't he just tell them not to have laws once he told them the whole story?
Apparently that wouldn't have worked because the people would still have lives. That's part of the shmooze. Okay.
Rabbi,
yes.
Can we say one more thing? One idea? I'm saying maybe you could simply say that if Moshe Rabbeinu shows he's aware of that negia, then you could assume that he did it right, meaning that once he's aware of the negia and he tells them that, then they realize that he doesn't have the negia.
Yeah, so all we should have done is he should have told them, you should have done the mitzvah like Hashem said, and tell people, don't think, like Mordechai said, that don't think that I have a negia. I'm doing it because Hashem said, and I know that people will think I have a negia, and it's not true. But that's not what he did. Moshe told them, I can't do it, because if I do it, people will say I did it because of the negia. Seems
right.
Okay, I don't know the answer to the second question. The people in Queens, they should ask Rabbi Harris. The first news is pretty muckle. That this is not a crazy thing. This is within the realm. It's in the realm of possibility, and it's considered a good svar. It's a logical thing for a logical person to say that Moshe Rabbeinu killed the Mikado because he had this slight negia, which I think is a relatively slight negia, because he didn't do anything. His father was Goyreim accidentally, obviously not on purpose, because he was Goyreim to me a problem 20 years ago, which has since been solved. That to me is a tremendous shmooze. That was the main shmooze. Second shmooze, I don't know the answer so well, so I leave it so well.
I'm going to say, right, the second shmooze, though, the idea is that the picture of Moshe killing him affects them, but if they don't actually see it, then they don't connect it necessarily to the negia. That was the big idea.
Right. Which that's what I'm assuming I have to say, but I'm not so happy with that answer either. So, if you're happy with that answer, fine. I mean, that's the best I can do. So it could be. What?
Rabbi, could we say that to explain the second?
I just say, sometimes it's better to say, we don't always say zem in the fun. Sometimes you just say tzarachian. So the second shmooze, I'm not sure if I would say zem in the fun or tzarachian. But okay, yes, I'm sorry, Nisano.
Maybe we could explain that since if the Jews kill them himself, so they're going to have to take responsibility for that. So they're either not going to kill him, or they're going to think it through and realize that it's the right thing to do, to trust Moshe on this and whatever. So they have to take a chrayas. So obviously, once they go ahead and kill him, they can't say that Moshe had an Nagia, and then they're making themselves into murderers. But if Moshe does it, they never need to really think it through to the same, they don't have that chrayas to think it through. And then it's just much easier. You can say that Moshe is a murderer.
Mm-hmm. He said because if they did it, they're going to say that Moshe was wrong, and then they're putting blame on themselves too.
Mm-hmm.
And the nature, okay, that's not a bad svara. That could be.
Then it comes out that the Nagia really, Alpi Seichel, is not the best. It's not really such a good svara because otherwise they wouldn't kill him.
No, they when they think about it logically, they can conclude that it's not true. I wouldn't say. I would just say that the first thing is that in the Gita, not to think that they did anything wrong. Not to make.
Why don't they refrain from killing him because of this very reasonable?
Killing him. Moshe gives them a tzivui, but once they do it themselves. That maybe that's as far that once they do it themselves and they can't believe that Moshe was wrong because then they were wrong. So he created a situation where they couldn't believe that. Right? Okay, maybe. I'm ready to say I don't know the answer to the second shmooze, but maybe that's a better answer. Yes, I hear.
I mean, not all of Klal Yisrael killed him though. I'm saying it's not the entire Klal Yisrael.
Yeah, but it had some kind of din. They were the shluchim of Klal Yisrael. Pasuk says,
I know, but Ellie doesn't usually sit on the 20, but
he says here. Okay, I don't know. Maybe they're the representatives, so they're shluchim. Okay, I don't know.
Rabbi, is there another?
What?
Is there another tier to the first shmooze that even though meaning Rabbi was saying that it's like indirect, but also his father meaning nothing wouldn't have happened if Dasan Aviram didn't tell Paro that he killed him. So meaning it was really totally not like there was no shaykhs to him.
That's also true. Yeah, that's true. I was saying also, it's not like the father wanted to be killed. Like that was the further thing from the father's mind. So the father does something. Okay, Moshe kills him on his own. Father didn't want to be killed. And right now you're adding a good point to it. And then does over here and doing that. And because of that, it worked out that I had to run away. So it's all his fault. I guess, it's not, like you're right. He would be the last person I would blame. I would blame Moshe. I would blame Dasan Aviram. I would blame Paro. But to say I'm going to blame the Mitzri, that does sound pretty far-fetched. Walk out with a set with the son. Yes.
It was a very traumatizing. L'chora is a very traumatizing part of Moshe's life. I mean, the whole thing it's not a fun experience. Down by the king by Paro and be almost killed. So I assume every single person involved in the whole matter would have there would be some feeling of hatred or a desire for Nakama. Every single person involved in things. Just an Aviram were at fault. Paro was at fault. The Mitzri was.
Okay, I don't know. I don't think it was such a traumatizing experience. Moshe had been talking. Right away he was. Hashem made a nace. Hashem saved him. He says. Where's his lashon? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong safe. I'm sorry. Okay, it says Lule Hashem Yitzim. Maybe, I mean, Paro wanted to kill him. He said Mechayr Paro. Okay, maybe. I still think it's a pretty tremendous finish. We also don't know how many years it was, but there seems to be, it was a long time, from the time that Moshe ran away till he came back.
Like over 60 years?
Yeah, it sounds like, because this is when Vayigdal Moshe was, Vayigdal Moshe Vayetze. I think it was, you know, and he came back. He didn't come back to Mitzrayim until he was 80. And we don't know how many years in the midway this is. So you're talking about, a long time. Probability is a long time after it happens. So, okay. But I we don't know.
But also, Rabbi, is Rabbi understanding when the Alshich says, V'sha'al kein yishtadel l'harog es beno, meaning the therefore of what they're going to say is that V'al kein yishtadel l'harog es beno, Rabbi's understanding that to mean that therefore Moshe would make up a whole story to kill his son?
Obviously not intentionally, but through the Negiah. The Negiah will make him want to kill him. He has a desire to take revenge. So
therefore, does that mean the Chashash is that Bnei Yisrael would accuse him falsely of making up what Hashem said and killing him when he wasn't supposed to?
I think that's too radical. They would accuse him of misunderstanding, of misinterpreting. Hashem maybe was ambiguous, and you made your own kavah chaimer or whatever, and you made a mistake in judgment. Moshe. It says that Moshe made a kavah chaimer. He could have judged on a kavah chaimer. So they would accuse Moshe that it was not an explicit tzivui from Hashem, and you made a judgment call, or you heard what you wanted to hear, you interpreted wrong. I just think that would be too radical to say that they thought that Moshe maliciously amazing. I don't know. That sounds too radical.
I agree with Rabbi. I thought it meant even something a lesser chiddush, not that he misinterpreted HaKadosh Baruch Hu, rather that he would perhaps have a hargasha as he's doing it. Granted, he's doing it from Hashem, but perhaps he would have the rechoshesh that Moshe Rabbeinu would be smiling on the inside as he's doing it. Of course, that he didn't interpret HaKadosh Baruch Hu correctly. It's just he'd maybe do it with an extra hargasha, an extra nail in the coffin type thing.
Okay, I don't know. The Asher said this before, but I don't think we were talking about whether he's actually doing it. I think the Asher said before that's why Moshe even asked Hashem, because he really didn't have to ask Hashem. It says that I think the Asher said, and Prosik earlier, where was it? Vayanichu b'mishmar livro shem al pi Hashem. The Alshach said that really Moshe knew on his own what the halacha was. But he didn't want to pass, and again, for the same thing that people will say that he's doing it because of his Negiah. So he wanted Hashem to tell him. Okay, anyway, all right, I think I'm going to end. Say Shekayach, everyone. Thank you. I hope it was okay. Okay, Shekayach.
Shekayach.
Rabbi.